Hello, Yak Tellers. No limit here. Yeah, that's right, me. I'm not showing you our ongoing current YouTube game, but what I am going to show you today is my poor man's customizations, and perhaps lazy man's way too. I got a few to show you that I'd like to share with you. So let's get to it, shall we? Well, the first one is inspired by Detroit, of how how he had. If you notice his videos, he likes to put a map, a blue foam map, under his fleet so he can move them easily. He's making his turn during his game. Well, that inspired me to do the same, but I couldn't find any thin blue mat anywhere. So, well, next best thing I did, even a poorer man's version of doing it, what I did was use this baby. So I can do something like this. If I want to move this fleet on my turn, let's see it off a naval base. I go 1, 2, 3 to 44. Easy, isn't it? And I suppose you could use plexiglass too, but that's harder to cut. This kind of plastic material, I just got it off of this. Went to the dollar store. Something came into this thing, but I was more interested in this here. I just cut it out to my specifications. And I got plenty to use. That's not too bad for $1, huh? Two-sided. As you see right there. So I thought it was pretty cool. I know War Pig, he was doing the same, but he's using plexiglass. Like I said, plexiglass is harder to cut than this stuff here. And this is cheaper. So that's all for that. And part of my A group. Let's see. Oh yeah. I like using the punch holders if you can find them. Like this one here shows an anchor. You just punch hole that baby and make something like this. Where is my thingy? Oh, there it is. You make something like that. What I used, again, I got this from, let's see, I think Joann's Crafts. It's a girly store, but it does have some cool stuff you can use out of his craft section. I got this pretty cheap. I think I got this for $2. This was on a clearance. Oh, let's see. I used, when I went to the dollar store and bought a whole packet of these, of tin foil paper. And as you see, I cut it with that puncher, and looks real nice. So, in the G40 game, if you don't like putting markers to set up like this, these cardboard cheap markers, and since it already begins with a naval base. All you gotta do is, instead of using that, just do it my method, cut it out, and let's see, just glue it together, with your glue stick. This works fine for me. They do make glue sticks stronger, so yeah, I suppose you can use that, but this works fine for me. Or you can use any kind of glue you want, but I suggest a glue stick of any strength. They do make different strengths of glue. I use a cheap method. I mean, I got 3 of these for $1 at a dollar store because I'm a poor man. Yeah. So I just, whenever you start out in the G40 game, you just got out one of these babies and paste them and glue them on. Paste or glue them on all over your board. I got them all over the place. As you see, bam, 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 bam. Wherever it places a seaport, I put it on there to start the game. That way it saves me time. And eventually what I did, I use these cardboard and glue it on there, but the thing is that it's like a little speed bump. Let's see if you want to put your fleet through that thing. It stopped. But no, not in this. Look at it, it goes right over. Oh, but more on this later. Okay, now let's go for it now. I did the same thing with these industrial complex markers as well, as you see over there. I originally glued it on there with the cardboard, but like again, speed bump, if I want to move my pieces, it knocks them over, and I hate that. So what I did for that, and for the also for these air bases as well, I would love to use punchers, but I couldn't find any punches for industrial complexes or aircraft. So what I did with this, as you see, it's paper thin. I used a razor blade and just cut out all this cardboard crap off of this thing until it's paper thin, until you see wallpaper white. And it takes a few minutes for each cardboard, but it's worth it. I mean, look at for one of these, I had to scrape off 3 layers of cardboard just to get to paper thin to these things here. But as you see, you can go right over. Doesn't affect it whatsoever if you want to move your pieces. So, and like I use glue stick to put on. Like I told you before, you can use more industrial strength if you want, but I'm using the cheap stuff, and it works. I had this on for a few weeks. It works fine with me. It takes a few minutes, you know, to get this cardboard crap off until you get paper thin. Until you see wallpaper white. To get as thin as possible, almost as thin as this foil here. So paper thin. So you can do that. And wherever you start out with, you know, the G40 game, like, you know, Italy starts out with an industrial complex and also an air base. So you just glue or paste them on there, just like that. Ta-da! Hey, let's see. What else did I use? In that paper pack, I got few. I got few colors. I guess you call that Barney purple, silver, gold, as you saw, and copper. What I did with that, let's see, for my victory cities, or let's start with victory cities. I use silver. I use this puncher, but as you can see, it's a shape of a star. I got this at a junk store for a couple bucks. Not bad, huh? I just punched that baby through, as so, and I used it for my victory cities. Just glued it on there again with my glue stick. It's paper thin, so it gets in nobody's way. Very good. And with, let's see, what did I do also? You can also mark your canals or straits. I use purple for that one, as you see. Indicates canals or straits. And in my house rules, I made Malacca straits and the San Bernardino straits for the Philippines. In my house rules, as you can see, I got purple Barney purple star there, and mark them to show me where they're at right away. And let's see, what else did I do? Oh yeah, for the copper paper, as you see, I punched it out, made stars for, you know, where NOs are indicated for either team. I use copper to indicate NO for Japan. For the axis, I use copper, and for the what else? And for the victory cities, I use gold for the Allies. As you know, you got to control all these to get one of the NOs for the Anzacs, or the far east command, if you will, if you're playing that house rule. So I did that. So gold indicates the Allies. Copper indicates for the Axis forces. And I did that all over the map. Now, Africa, I had to do it a little differently because I didn't want to glue stars all over the map of Africa. So I just did this to indicate that all of Africa is what indicated NO for the British. So what else? Also, oh yeah, I use this puncher for circles. I didn't use it too many of those, but this indicates also circles indicates a no-no for the axis. As you know, the rules stipulates a French came into French into China, they wouldn't get that their 10 NO from America of oil reserves. So I put that, I put this star there. They indicate the Japanese. But I know this circle indicates a no to them. So not to do that. As a reminder, not to do that. So they get their 10 NO by not taking French Indochina. I did the same thing with the Germans too. I just put this into the Martian to indicate, that circle as a no to the British, to the Germans, not to attack the Russians. Otherwise, they lose their NO over the wheat reserves from the Russians. So that's what I did for that. I thought it was pretty cool, and maybe you can do the same thing as yourself. So that's it's all for A. Hope you enjoyed that. I did. I enjoyed doing it. It took a little time, but it's well worth it. And it's cheap too. Cheap like me. So let's go into B portion of my house rule. Oh, no, not my customizations. So let's see. Well, let's first see here. You can use these arrows, especially if you're maybe playing a YouTube game or a face-to-face game. It doesn't matter. You can indicate these arrows for battle, with red for combats, or blacks for non-combats if you want to. I got these arrows from the Risk game. I forgot what version it is. It's one of the newer ones. It came out somewhere in this millennium. I forgot which one it was, but I got it from that. I hate that game Risk, but it did come with these arrows, so that's why I bought it. So if you want to indicate your combats, just put that right next to it, or your non-combats as a reminder right next to that. So that was pretty cool, I thought. Certainly helped me. And let me see. Also, if you saw my earlier video of over a year ago, how I did my hit dice and I put stickers all over the dice. That didn't work too well for me because I found out with all those stickers on my hit dice, I roll it. Usually the rolls will go against me. I hated that, so I ended up taking it off. And I made newer hit dice if you see that video. But I did keep the national insignia of the hit dice, this being the Chinese. So if you roll that, it's a hit dice. If you get that, a 1, then hey, the Chinese got a hit. Of course, I used decals on this, and I had to, as you can see, I put a thin layer of tape over it because I really didn't work well if I glued the decal on, or really on if I put the decal on there, because eventually it'll come off by so many rollings, or if you rub it, the decal will come off. So I just put a thin layer of tape, as you see here, for my hit dice. And I only did it on the one position, the decals, so I didn't go too crazy. And that's just too much work to do it otherwise. But it would be cool if I had the money. I do have the time, but if I had the money and the will, I'm too lazy. I could put it on other sides, the decals. But That's what I did. So this is a correction for my earlier video of last year, what I did originally for my hit dice. Okay, now what else? Also, another correction I did for my flight stands. If you saw the earlier video of mine a year ago, it's under Poor Man's Customizations. It's under my playlist of customizations and houses and such. If you want to see the video, I was inspired by Wildcat. I think it's 6305. That's his name. He made flight stands like similar to this, but I didn't do exactly what he did. He did it better than me. I did the more lazy man's way. I think he used nails. Put on these bolts. And works pretty well. What I did, I used, if you can see, these are cotter pins. That's what I use, and just stuck it in there. But it didn't work too well for me because it's pretty hard to put an aircraft on there. Then you got, it doesn't go on the right way. You got jimmy in the cut between the cotter pins, and I didn't like that too well. So what I did, instead of I still used the bolts, or I should call them nuts, like me. What I did, use the nuts as a Wildcat 6305 indicated and inspired me. Use his method, but what I did, he used putty. I used chewing gum. I chewed a lot of gum, so hey. So I use chewing gum. So I make use of my garbage. And what I use is a bobby pin. So you can just stick on that baby on there easily. You can stick a few on there. In fact, a few planes on there. Meow meow. So that was pretty cool. So that's what I'm gonna be doing from now on. I'm gonna be taking these cotter pins off. I still got work to do on it, but I'm gonna use these bobby pins. And then I use these shorter bobby pins for my lesser crafts. And where is that? No, of course not. I use the longer bobby pins for the bombers. That's what I did. So yeah, so that's it for that. And of course, if you saw, this is inspired by Sire Blood of these fire plumes, if they call it the Lego fire plumes. I like the way he did it. So I was inspired by that, but I did it differently. In order to use these, you have to drill a hole in your units, and I hated that. I tried that, and it still didn't fit right. Now I don't have the proper tools to do it. I don't have fancy machinery to drill holes, so I had to grind it with scissors and such. And it still didn't fit right. I had to really jam it in there in the hole of the unit, like a battleship, industrial complex, or carrier to get damaged. I didn't like that too well. So what I originally did, I used Play-Doh and just stuck it on there, as you see right there. And I use the orange one because it matches the color of the orange plumes. But what happened is that the clay eventually dries out and it falls off. So what I'm going to do, I haven't done it yet because I didn't buy it, but what I'm going to do, I only bought this clay for $1 at a dollar store. That's why I did it originally like that. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to use your molding clay, or what do they call that, baker's clay, because those two don't dry out unless those two kind of clays don't dry out. You could use putty as well, but with clay you can buy the color of many clays. Use that instead. That's what I'm going to do instead for damages. I'll be using on my capitals and my industrial complexes. It does look cool. Thank you, Sire Blood, for the inspiration. But I'm going to be using baker's clay or baking clay they call it, or molding clay, so they don't dry out. I'm going to be using it eventually. gotta go to maybe a Walmart to get it. I do believe it sell it cheap. I saw that at a Joann's Fabrics store. But I didn't want to spend $3 on it, so I'm gonna try Walmart to see if I can do it that way. But it's pretty cool. Just stick it on like that. Right now it's clay that's sticking on right there, but I just did it, so that's why I didn't dry out right away. But that's why I'm going to use the other kind of clay next time. And what else? Also, if you don't want to spend the money for, gas gauges for your aircrafts, you know what I'm talking about. Those circular ones that you can find in historical board gaming. If you don't want to spend the money for that, if you have small dice like this, hey, use that as your gas gauge indicator. 3 flights left, 2 flights left, or 4 in the tank. And I had these small dice anyways, and you can't, regulations indicate you can't roll these in a regulation game unless you want to house rule it, but people frown on that, so I'm not going to do that. So let's see all these 2 aircrafts are indicated as two flights left in its gas gauge. So that's what I did with mine. So that's it for B. Oh man, this baby's gonna go for a half hour, isn't it? Oh well. Let's pick up the pace. Okay, for C, I should say, if you know me, I'm lazy, and I hate painting these pieces. I mean, I'm no General Fun. General Fun paints his pieces beautifully, especially his infantry. Oh, beautiful. And Detroit, Moffett Field, he's another one that paints real great on his units. I don't want to spend that kind of time doing that. That'll take centuries, seemingly, or at least decades to do all your pieces like that. So, yeah, I don't have the talent like those guys do. I have the time for it, but no talent or the will. I'm lazy. So what I did is I paint tip. I mean, I'm not the first to do this. I've been inspired by many other guys, particularly LT, how he paint tips his units. So I paint tip all my units that way. I should see different colors, like my submarine, my transport, my cruiser, my battleship, blue for destroyers, and for the grounders, I just paint tip the muzzles or the gun barrels, as you see right there. My artilleries are paint tip, and for my the mechanized units really have no barrel, so I just painted gold the seating, just for the coolness factor. As you see, did the same thing with my aircraft, gold for my dive bombers or tack bombers, if you will, blue for my fighters, and red for my bombers. What I did, I used this kind of paint. I got this from, what did I get this from? I got it from Michael's Nursery and Crafts store. Pretty cheap too, $2 each, and they last for thousands of pieces. Because I painted about 1/4 of my pieces that I'm currently using. Every one of these pieces are paint tipped, including what's in here. More on that later. All my pieces for 7 different nations there. And you can use, I use silver, gold, metallic blue. And originally I used raspberry red or rose red. And I didn't like that too well because it came out pinkish on my battleships or bombers. I didn't like that too well, so I had to go back to Michael's and get the red rouge. And so I think that looks better. It doesn't look pinkish. This rose red give a pinkish color, which is not too manly, but it wasn't to waste because I just paint tipped my grounders, so it doesn't look too pink. Well, if it does look pinkish, it doesn't matter because it's firing. So, and it looks good against the black surface, I think. And I also did the same thing with the smokestacks for my my factories, and of course my A guns, and did. I'm going to call these smokestacks for my transports. I don't care what anybody says. They say, oh, it's just rigging. They use smokestacks. But I did that anyways. Didn't indicate both smokestacks. Yeah, it looks a major coolness factor as well. So thank you, LP, for the inspiration. You inspired me. You know, I did see others doing it. So what else? Also, you may know about this. About buying stickers from various companies. I use Combat Miniatures over the internet, and it works. They're pretty cheap too. I bought what 4 stickers for $1.50 for the Japanese. 4 for $1.50. That's cheap, and it's not all that hard either. So I just stuck it on there, real good. Of course, you have to. I did a mistake with make sure that these these stickers will fit your aircraft carriers. I made a mistake with mine, with the Americans. I bought this originally because I like the cool numbers, but this is for escort carriers, and as you see, it doesn't work too well for an American carrier. So I'm not waste that one. I'm not going to use it for my carriers for my classic game. I think they'll fit there just nicely, so I'm going to have to buy some more stickers for the American carrier. So let's see. So that's it for C. Yeah. As you can see, I did for the Japanese, the Italians, the Germans, and the British. That looks cool. Very cool. Of course, one thing, if you buy these and want to stick it on to your carriers, first cut it with tweezers or scissors first before you start peeling it off. So cut it to size. Otherwise, if you do it the opposite way, it's going to be really hard to cut it. So cut it before you peel it off. I use tweezer scissors, and it works pretty good. Not exactly maybe British professional level, but it's good enough for me. I'm not anal retentive like Grasshopper or G.I. Joe. But good for them anyways. So that's it for C. I'll get these paints out of the way. Let's go down to D. Oh yeah, this is also inspired by Sire Blood. Get a magnetic primer. Not exactly cheap. It cost me about $20, but $20. This thing will last you forever. But for many uses too. I mean, I haven't even not even a spit in the bucket I used from this. But make sure when you buy this, you gotta stir it up real good for about 5-10 minutes to get it real thick. Otherwise, it won't work for you. So that's the only thing I hate about it. But what I did, of course, I should indicate before, use a paintbrush from a dollar store and paint your tip your pieces. So that's it for that. So for further on D, what I did is I slapped this on my carriers. That way it's magnetic. Well, a magnetic surface for magnets. And you see there's a bunch of magnets stuck together. What I did was, what did I do? First I glued this. Not glued it. I paint the primer on it. Let's see, for my Japanese carrier, and afterwards I just put the sticker decal over it. I shouldn't call it decal. It's a sticker. Decals is water based. So what I did, let's see, get this off. And what I did, I don't like cutting holes in my pieces. I mean, you need, it takes too long, and plus you destroy your pieces if you mess up. And I don't have the proper machinery to do it anyway. So what I did was I slapped some of this magnetic primer on the bottom base of my aircrafts. And what I did, just stick that. As you can see, I just stick that magnet on there, and it goes right on easy. Ta-da! So it won't fall off. Ta-da! So I thought that was cool. So if if you're lazy like me, you don't want to drill holes into your pieces, use magnetic primer. These magnets. These magnets I got cheap. I got 100 for about $5, I think, over the Wish. It's an eBay kind of company over the internet. So I liked it. Ta-da! Well, I thought it worked pretty good. That way, it sticks out to your carrier. You know, it's a German plane, and the British carrier, but who cares? So you can use a paintbrush you get from a dollar store, and afterwards try to wipe it off, clean it off as much as you can. And I would suggest you wear thin rubber gloves when you're using painting priming your stuff. Otherwise you're going to get on your fingers, and if you don't have Borax, so it's going to be hell to clean off your hands. I learned it the hard way, but I got plenty of Borax, so that's what I use to clean my hands. And I think that's it for D. We're almost done here, folks. Going over a half hour. Let's go to E. First, if you want, let's see, if you're too scared to mark your map, G40 map, regular G40 map with markers, don't be. Like I put San Bernardino trace right there with marker. But I can take it off anytime with nail polish remover. Make sure it's 100% acetone, maximum strength. That way it will come off real easy if whenever you want to take that marker off your map. You know, I don't know how this will work on a printed map, so I can't. Maybe you have to test it on your printed map, but a G40 map works great if you want to take that marker off. Also, to make I use the same marker to mark my kamikaze markers, so you can easily see it. And also my convoys, and I haven't really finished doing that with my marker yet. But the kamikaze works pretty good. Kamikaze marker is easily identifiable if you use a marker. So I thought it was pretty cool. And it's cheap too. Real cheap. Okay, and this thing here, I got this for $3 at a garage sale, and this is where I put all my pieces in. Pieces at it for all my nations. And for the Japanese, various units, my aircrafts, my smaller ships, my capital ships. Let's see, my grounders and my troops. Works pretty good. I like it. And you can use that for your customization too. It's not that hard. Better than just taking out your cardboard box that it came with the game. That way you can get it real easy. I liked it. And if you go to the dollar store, you can buy these containers for only $1. I bought this for $1. Let's see where I'm gonna put that at. Opens there. I fill all that stuff in there. You see how thin it is, but if you put your cardboard markers in there, or plastic markers, hey, it fits real nice. There's gotta be hundreds in here now. Just for $1. Also, you have a larger one. You may want a larger one. Put your chips in there, or units if you will. Only for $1. Organizer case from a dollar store from Jots. I like it. I like it a lot. Let's hope you do too. That will end this customization video. So Want to save this for later? Thank you. I'm going 35 minutes now, so I'll end it real soon. So if you want to see my earlier customizations, poor man's customizations, look at my video from last year. It'll be under my playlist under customizations, house rules, and such under that playlist. If you'd like to see that, you'll see how I did my chips and various other things, and my hit dice. So I hope you like that. I enjoyed showing it to you. And you know I love showing it to you because I hate doing long videos like this. And I'm going to shut up now. And I encourage you to watch our ongoing YouTube game, a Glow 40 variant, where China goes first. And the Far East Command's in this one. And we're in round 7 right now. See, LT just made his turn. And now we're waiting for our Paleto to make his American turn. So subscribe to them, along with Prozac, Harper Clegg, the Warden, and I also already indicated Paleto, and LT, and also Enderman, who started out this game but he couldn't finish it, so Clegg had to take over his Germany. But we encourage you to watch that game. We're in the 7th round. So, No Limit out!